Hello, friends. Good evening. So, we are meeting again with my third lecture, and today's topic that we are going to cover is beams and its type for a coplanar non concurrent force system. To start with, what you are going to learn in this particular lecture. So in this particular lecture, you will be able to learn the definition of beam, types of beams, and at the end, you'll be able to determine the support reactions in the beams. So first of all, we all know that there are various components in any particular building structure, right? Any particular building has got components like beam, column, slab, floor, ventilators, lintel, right? X number of members are there in a particular building, right? But the horizontal member is nothing but the beam. What is horizontal member? It's a horizontal member which supports the load coming from the superstructure. It distributes to the walls. Okay, so that is a horizontal member. So now if I want to define a beam, there are four important points to be noted in this particular case. First is beam is a horizontal member. Number two, its one end or both the ends are supported. Number three, the length of the beam or the horizontal member is greater as compared to depth and width, right? That means beam is defined as a horizontal structural member with its one end or both the ends supported, having length greater than depth and width. In the diagram you can see that the first diagram indicates the reinforcement bars, the cutout section of a horizontal member or a beam. Okay, and the second diagram shows the frame structure in which beams and columns are already designed and constructed. Okay, so the horizontal structure that you see in the second diagram, that is called as a beam. Now we are going to study what are the different design that are to be used in beams. So beams are basically used in floors and roofs. If you must have heard in the first semester, you must have studied construction. So you must have heard plinth beam, right? Before a floor is designed, a beam is provided. So plinth beam is there. In the roof also, the roof is supported with the help of beams. Okay. Second is it can also be called as floor joist, stringers, floor beams or girders. So if you are talking about a steel structure, then we call it as joist or a girder. Okay. Now the load coming on the beam, it can be of two types. Either it can be a concentrated load or it can be a distributed load. So what is concentrated load? What is distributed load? So concentrated load basically is the load which is coming directly in the form of a point, that this load is transferred at the center or at the centroid. Okay, so it is acting in the form of a point. If I want to give you a simple example, what you can do, you can take an eraser, you can take a pencil and you can press the pencil on the eraser, and after some time if you remove it, what will happen? You'll find a particular dot or a point or a hole. That means the load or the weight of the pencil was concentrated at a particular point. So the beam is also subjected to this kind of load, which is basically transferred with the help of vertical member, which is called as a column. Okay. Also, in the next semester, that is third semester, you're going to study shear force, bending moment, deflection. So beam is basically designed for shear force, bending moment and deflection. Okay. Now, we have to classify different types of beams, right? The classification of the beam is basically based on the type of support. That means the beam has two supports. It can have one support, it can have more than two support. So based on the support, the beam is classified, right? So the first classification of the beam is cantilever beam. Second classification of beam is a simply supported beam. Third classification of the beam is overhanging beam, which is again classified into right side overhang and left side overhang. Then it is a fixed beam and a continuous beam. And one more beam I forgot to mention over here is a propped cantilever, right? So now if we see that, again this is in the diagram, we have got a beam that is a horizontal member which has both the ends supported, and in the first figure the load is coming in the form of a point, that is concentrated load, right? And in the second diagram we can see that the load is distributed up to B point, it is distributed uniformly, and from B to C we can see that it is gradually increasing or gradually varying load. Okay, so one more word is important which I forgot to mention, that these are also called as transverse loads. What are transverse loads? Basically the load which is acting at an angle of 90 degree to the axis, that is called as a transverse load. So the beam is also subjected to transverse load, and these transverse load can be called as a concentrated load or a distributed load. Okay, now what are the different types of materials of which the beam can be constructed? So as I told you, if it is a steel structure, then the beam is made up of steel, aluminium. If it is a wooden structure, it is made up of wood. If it is a concrete, then it may be a precast concrete, or it may be RCC structure. Okay, so these are the various materials of beam, right? So this diagram shows you the different types of beams, right, depending on how they are supported, as I already told you. So you can see in the diagram A, the one end of the beam is fixed in the wall or in the support, and the other end is free. That means only one end is supported. It is called as a cantilever beam. Can anyone give me the example of a cantilever beam? What will be the example? Everybody has observed. Have you seen weather sheds और छज्जास, है ना, जो आपकी विंडोज़ होती है ना, उसके ऊपर जो प्रोजेक्टेड होता है ना, तो एक पोर्शन स्लैब का कैसा होता है या वेदर शेड का कैसा होता है, वॉल के अंदर होता है, और जो दूसरा होता है वो कैसा होता है, प्रोजेक्टेड होता है. सो बेसिकली दैट इज़ एन एग्जाम्पल ऑफ अ कैंटिलीवर बीम. Then second is simply supported. Everybody has seen that in a particular room or a particular residential building, sometimes the two walls are being connected with the help of a beam. So the beam is resting freely on both the supports. So it is called as a simply supported beam. So in a simply supported beam, we have got two supports. Then the third type of beam is called as overhanging beam. Now, if you want to see that the definition of beam, if I put my hand on one of these supports, okay, suppose I put my hand on the right support, what does it show? It shows it is a cantilever. If I put my hand on both the supports, then what does it show? It is a simply support. So, how can we define overhanging beam? We can define overhanging beam as a beam which is a combination of simply supported beam and a cantilever beam. It is of three types. First is right side overhang, second is left side overhang, and third is both side overhang, which is observed in this particular diagram. Now, what is the practical example of overhanging beams? Everybody has seen that in high-rise building, okay, the room is having a balcony, right? So the beam which is connecting to the floor is projected or hanging towards the right hand or towards the left hand. So that is an example of overhanging beam. Then we have got fourth type of beam, which is a continuous beam. You can see in the diagram that it has got more than two supports. That means a beam which has got more than two supports, it is called as a continuous beam. Now, can anyone give me the example? Everybody has gone to the malls, cinemas to see the movies, right? Now, when you go to the base parking, do you see any of the particular beams, or you see number of columns? We see number of columns, and these columns are supporting the beam. So that is an example of a continuous beam, so that the parking can be done efficiently. Okay, so that is a continuous beam. When a structure is giving much more load, okay, then at that time, and one more point in this I want to add, that when the length of the room is very big, for example, you have got a storage shed, okay, so there you cannot provide a room of 2 by 2 or 2 by 3 or 3 by 4 or 3 by 6 meters, okay. In that particular case we are providing by 20 meters by 15 meters or so. So only one support at the wall and another support at the wall is not sufficient. You will find deflection, okay, you will find bending in the beam. Then at that particular time what we have to do, we have to increase the supports, okay. That means when the length of the beam exceeds 4 meters, then we go for a continuous beam. The next is a fixed beam. What is a fixed beam? So basically fixed beam, you can see that its both ends are encasted, okay, both ends are fixed in the support. Generally this kind of beam is observed in our steel structures, okay. And the last is cantilever, simply supported. You can see one end is fixed and another end has a prop in the form of a column or a support. So it is basically called as a propped cantilever. So these are the different types of beams. Now we are going to focus on what are the different types of loads and what are the different types of supports. So to start with, as already discussed with all of you, that what are the different types of loads. There are as such loads which are carrying structures need support to avoid deformation, bending, instability. Okay, that means we need a support which will prevent deflection, which will prevent deformation, which will prevent bending, which will prevent instability, okay. So as already discussed with all of you, what is a concentrated load or a point load? So I gave you the example that of a pencil and eraser, okay. If you put a pencil on the eraser and remove it, you'll find a dot or you'll find a point. That means the load is concentrated at a point. So if I talk about practical example, so which structure will try to give a point load in civil engineering? A column, a pillar. A pillar or a column of dimension 800 mm by 600 mm column, it will give its whole weight in the form of a point to the ground. Okay, so that is called as a point load. Now first diagram shows that the load is acting at the center, and the second point shows that the load is acting at eccentric. What is eccentric load? It is not acting exactly at the center but at a distance of x or y with respect to the support. Now uniformly distributed load. So you can see the diagram of uniformly distributed load. I want to give you a very simple example of uniformly distributed load. If we talk about a particular beam, okay, the length of the beam is 3 meters, the depth of the beam is 800 mm, the width of the beam is 400 mm, okay. So throughout the length, the beam is having same dimension. Throughout the length, the beam is made up of same material. So if I calculate the load per meter length, that means एक मीटर के इंटरवल पे अगर मैं लोड कैलकुलेट करूँगी, ठीक है, तो वो लोड कैसा आएगा? इक्वल आएगा, यूनिफॉर्म आएगा, ठीक है. दैट मीन्स पर मीटर लेंथ अगर लोड डिस्ट्रीब्यूट होता है इक्वली और यूनिफॉर्मली, तो उसको हम बोलते हैं यूनिफॉर्मली डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड लोड. इट इज़ ऑलवेज गिवन in terms of intensity W kilonewton per meter. Why W kilonewton per meter? Because it is taken per meter length. Okay. So this is the summary of different types of loads that you can see. One is a uniformly distributed load, second is a point load but it is inclined load, and third is a uniformly varying load as well as distributed load, and the beam is a simply supported beam of length L. Okay, now we come to the different types of supports. There are basically n number of supports, but for the students of diploma engineering, we have got mainly 3 types of supports, that is fixed support, roller support and hinge support. Okay, first of all I'll talk about the roller support. Okay, so you can see this roller support, right? Now first of all, before going to the support, I want you all to know what do you mean by the term reaction. Okay, this plays a very important role in the supports. What is the reaction? So for reaction, you can see this particular diagram. Diagram number 2 shows that a block is placed on a table. Okay, so the weight of the block will try to push the block in the downward direction, but the block does not move in the downward direction because the table is giving a resistance to the motion. And in which direction? In the opposite direction to the motion. So you can see that weight is in the downward direction. So what is the reaction? Reaction is in which direction? Upward direction. So first important point, that the reaction is always produced in the direction opposite to the motion of a body. Okay, this is very important point. Second, where does it produce? Where does the reaction get produced? So reaction basically produces at the point of contact of two surfaces. What are the two surfaces over here? One surface is table and another surface is of the block. So the point of contact of both the surfaces is the point at which the reaction produces. You can see in the diagram 1, a sphere is lying on the horizontal. Okay, so reaction is produced at point of contact of the support and the sphere. Similarly, if you see that the sphere is lying at an inclined support, so at the point of contact it is getting produced. And the third and most important, it is always produced at an angle of 90 degree to the surface. If the surface is inclined, then the 90 degree will be to that particular point. If the surface is horizontal, 90 degree will be this. Okay, so three important points for the reaction. First is it is produced at point of contact of two surfaces. Second, it is always at an angle of 90 degree to the surface. And third, it is produced in the direction opposite to the motion of a body. So now I come to my different types of support. Okay, so we first take the roller support. What does the diagram show? The diagram shows that it is a skates. When we wear skates, we only move in which direction? Freely, horizontal. Okay. Can I move vertical by wearing the skates? No. Can I rotate 360 degree? Yes. That means where is the resistance observed? Resistance is observed only at vertical motion. So whenever there is a roller support, you will have only one vertical reaction because there is a easy horizontal motion, similarly easily 360 degree rotation with the skates. Second simple example of the roller support is a trolley bag or a revolving chair. And in this diagram I have showed you the bearings, rollers. I think everybody must have seen on the flyovers. What do you see in the flyovers? There is a gap after 800 meters or 1 kilometer or 500 meters. And what does that gap show? That gap basically is an expansion joint or a pillar and the what we can call it as surface of the surface of the flyover. Okay, they are getting connected. So rollers are provided because when the vehicles are moving over there on the particular flyover, what will happen? If we are not providing rollers, then the load will be concentrated at a particular point and there are many chances of the failure or cracks developing from that particular point. So as rollers are provided, what will happen? The flyover will distribute the load uniformly throughout its length. That is why always there is one roller support on a bridge. Which bridge? A bridge which is constructed on the river. If you have seen the Golden Bridge, which is from Bharuch when you're going to Surat. So the bridge, one end will be a roller support and another end will be a fixed support. Okay. Now second type of support is a hinge support. Everybody has seen hinges. घर में आपकी जो विंडोज़ होती है ना या डोर्स होते हैं ना, तो उनको कनेक्ट फ्रेम के साथ कौन करता है? हिंज. ठीक है. अब अगर आप डोर ओपन करते हो तो डज द डोर स्टार्ट वॉकिंग विथ यू? नो. दैट मीन्स रेजिस्टेंस टू विच मोशन? हॉरिजॉन्टल. Does the door try to move in the vertical direction? No. So resistance to the motion in which direction? Vertical. But when you open the door, what will happen? It will rotate. Right? So there is no resistance to the movement. So therefore, whenever there is a hinge support, you will have two reactions. One will be horizontal reaction and second will be vertical reaction. As there is no resistance to the movement, therefore there will be no movement in this particular structure. And this is a fixed support. Okay. What does the diagram show? One end is fixed, another end is free. If you can see the diagram in a square box, it is a particular pole which is fixed in the ground. Now if I want to move that particular pole in the horizontal direction, it will not move. If I want to move it in the upward direction, it will not move because it is fixed. And if I want to rotate it, will it rotate? No, because its another end is also fixed. So what will happen? Whenever you have got a fixed support, you have got three reactions. One is horizontal, second is vertical, and third is rotation. Okay, so my this is going to come to an end. I'll just give you one brief table which I have shown over here, that this is a support, and we have got roller support, hinge support, and fixed support. If you can see properly, in the roller support, usually one support is roller, then it is allowing free expansion, and the third point is vertical loads normal to the roller plane are being taken. Similarly, if it is a hinge support, then for hinge support it is basically two reactions, one in the vertical and one in the horizontal direction. And if it is a fixed support, so one end is free and it has got three reactions, that is vertical, horizontal, and movement. So I think in this particular lecture we have studied what are the different types of beams, what are the different types of supports, and what is a reaction. Okay, in the next lecture we are going to study how support reactions can be calculated. Hope you liked my video. If you have liked, please click on the like button and subscribe my channel. Thank you.